Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and today we're really going to tackle something. It's a bail replacement and a rotor replacement for the Captiva 5000 Liveliner, which is a bait feeding reel. Now, this one took some injury, it took a hit, and somehow it snapped off the screw that holds the bail assembly in place on the rotor. And what happened with that was apparently everything just left, with the exception of the bail arm over here that held it in place. And the fellow brought it into the shop and basically gave it to me when he heard that the parts would be probably about $25–30. So I, me being me, went out there and I got the parts, and half of it was just to me saying, let me show you folks how to do the bail. Don't be afraid of them. They do have the spring assemblies and that, but not terribly difficult. And if we can rebuild this, then I've got a Captiva for about 25 bucks, and either use it or sell it. But regardless, it's a good reel. It's worth the investment. So let me show you how to do that. I went ahead and ordered a replacement rotor because I wasn't going to drill this screw out and take any chances. And since so many pieces were needed anyway, it made sense to just go pay the extra few dollars for the rotor. Now the rotor is an assembly. The spring side that activates this, the trip lever and all, is on the what I'll call the left-hand side of this, for lack of a better term. And it's really made up of these components here. There's a shield, there's the trip lever, there's the bail arm, there's a screw that holds the bail in place, and there's the spring. So let's show you how that goes together. First is this kind of a Z-looking arm that inserts this way into it. That's so that when it's showing down here, you see the bottom of it, that trips the bail to flip. The next thing then is this the spring assembly, and this is what makes the spring tension on the bail arm when you go to set it. We then have a little pivot that goes inside of that spring, and that pivot is loaded into this little hole on the arm. Kind of hard to see, but it sits like this. Yeah, put that down for a moment. Sits like this inside that spring hole there. So you'll have that, and then you know that there's another pivot point that's going to sit on here. So not an easy thing, especially if you have big hands like mine, but we'll show you how that goes. So what we want to do is we want to set this in here. We want to load the spring piece into that hole, and then, oops, I have that upside down. So there's a little taper on this throw, and you'll know you have it upside down if you're seeing the spring side, but there's a little taper here that you want to make sure it comes out. We're then going to load that little hole, and then with a lot of effort, push down. Up. That's why nobody likes to attack bails. Just a fun thing all around, but you have to get these things set just right. And if I'm going off camera, I apologize for that. Let's try it this way. Put a little tension on it first. So bails are, I think, meant just to discourage everybody from trying to get these things done. But just play around with it, and eventually you will get it. And I apologize, I know I'm off camera, but I don't have the leverage in my hand at the moment to seat this properly. So that's what I'm working on right now. And now I've got it seated properly, and I apologize if that was off camera. But so you have the spring in that little hole, push down, it grabs the top of this, and then it seats properly in there. And you can take the screw then and set the bail arm that way with the screw. I'm just trying to keep tension on it as I go do that. That's a Phillips head screw. And I just, there's some things with my hands that just don't work well, and it's the small pieces and parts. But I apologize if that other piece was off camera. But again, put that the tip of that screw in there, and then just press down on it so you can compress the spring. And then you have a functional spring. As you can see, the spring moves off, this comes in, and then it's going to trip up, this goes back, the spring resets. So that's how your bail spring side works. And again, I apologize if for some reason you didn't get a full view of that, but I needed the leverage to do this properly. Okay, and then this little shield kind of holds everything together. So we'll put that shield back in, and we'll turn our attention to the other side. Yeah, so this is another one of those examples. Like I said, I think maybe sometimes I just am up for a challenge more than anything else. But with the cost of the reel being negligible, as in somebody gave it to me, I can go ahead and buy the $25 worth of bail parts. You may not want to do that, but you know, if you do, you know, you're certainly welcome to do that and make the reel work. If you like the reel, there's no reason not to do it. And I didn't get the full story there on why or how that broke. Okay, let's turn our attention to the bail then. You have the bail wire, and now I'm looking at a schematic because I don't do these enough times that I can remember that. But we have a bail wire, and all these parts came from mysticparts.com, which is the older site was pennparts.com. This name got changed to Mystic Parts. They're in Mystic Island, New Jersey. I guess that's a piece of why they chose Mystic. But the other side of it being they wanted to go offer some parts beyond Penn. So I'm just setting these up now according to the way that the parts roll. And there's really 4 pieces that make this work. There's 2 ball bearings in here. There's a line roller. There's a little stop washer. And there's a screw. So let's go ahead and line them up for you. And again, if you don't know how these go, and I'm not an expert at this to say I know long enough, here's our lineup of the pieces and parts that goes in the bail wire. So we're going to take that. We're going to insert the first bearing. I'm going to put the line roller on, put the second bearing on. That should almost ride flush. We're going to take the bail wire then, and we're going to attach by turning the complete. Then we're going to put the screw on the back of this side, put the bushing or washer in there, and there's 2 sides to that washer. There's a proud side and a flat side. You want to make sure that you have that set properly. Grab the screwdriver. Now this is a threaded screwdriver. It's not a threaded screw. It's not a coarse screw. But that's the bearing assembly now. I'm sorry, the bail assembly now. So the last thing we want to do is we want to reinstall the new rotor with the new bail on it. And I put the pieces on here when I took the old bail off, just so I knew where they were. Many of you who watch the channel know that I recommend the parts bucket. But this one was out waiting for parts, and I didn't want to just leave it in the parts bucket to my imagination. So I decided to just put the parts back where they came from. Hand tightening now. This is a reverse thread. You'll notice that I'm tightening by going counterclockwise, which is not the norm. The norm on this one would be to go clockwise. Okay, we're just going to grab that and make the last few turns. It's a 12mm nut. Going to go install our spool stop, the click mechanism. Put the little pressure washer on top of that. Go grab the spool, which has been off camera, I guess. Grab the drag knob. And then the ultimate test to make sure it works. But for $20 now, I have a Penn Captiva Liveliner that is ready to go fishing again. Nice balance to it, so the rotor's there. There we go. We're just tripping and happy to be ready to go fishing again. So, yeah, that's how you do it. And again, I apologize if that early part of it showed me a little bit off camera, trying to get this one done, but again, I didn't have the arm strength to push down on this. Well, it's on the other side. Push down on this. No, it's on the side. Push down on the spring to insert. But if you just line that little tag end off of the spring into the hole, you can push down. If you have the hand strength, that's great. If not, you're gonna have to use some leverage, and that will set that. So that's how you do it. It's not that complicated. It's a nice reel overall, and we're going to go put this one back into service. So with that, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like it. If you want to see more of these kinds of things, please stay tuned. A couple of things coming up. We're going to go do a 4.0 Senator. It's a nice reel. It's got a little bit of chrome loss on this one. It's an older version, but not the oldest. It is a high-speed reel. We're going to go clean it up, and we're going to tune it up and get it ready for storage this winter. So stay tuned. That'll be one of the projects coming up in the near term. With that, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. I thank you for watching.